We are live. Hello, welcome. My name is Diane Dulce. I am the Director of Communications and Marketing here at UNLV Graduate College. We are so thrilled to have you here at our 11th annual Verbal Grad Slam 3-minute thesis competition. Really, the 3-minute thesis competition, or 3MT, which is actually a lot better for me to say. It's better. It's a competition model that was developed at the University of Queensland in Australia in 2008. It spread to other universities in Australia and New Zealand in 2009 and 2010. And by 2011, the 3MT competition phenomena had spread around the globe. And now more than 600 universities from more than 65 countries hold these competitions. And in 2014, UNLV held our first 3MT, which is the Rebel Grad Slam. And this year is our 11th annual Research Rumble, which we are so excited about. This is a fantastic opportunity for students to learn how to convey who they are, what they study, why they study it, how they study it, and what they found or expect to find, and why really it matters to people who are mostly outside of their field. It's also an opportunity to build public speaking and communication skills and really polish one's elevator speech, describing what they study as graduate student. Also, it's worth noting that our SNAMers come from all over campus and from a wide range of disciplines. Some are first-year students, some are in their final year, some are master's students, and others are advanced doctoral candidates. So it is a very diverse pool of over 90 graduate students competing here this week. So it is an exciting time here at the Graduate College. Today, we have a group of UNLV graduate students who have been randomly assigned to compete in this preliminary session. Each will present their research in 3 minutes or less using one slide and no props. We'll be introducing each student and then start the timer. If a student goes over 3 minutes, they'll be eliminated from the competition. Slammers are encouraged to pace themselves and use their 3 minutes without going over. It's not easy, but that's what the 3MT is all about. Right? And to our snammers, please make sure to keep your mic on mute and video off when other competitors are presenting. Only turn your mic and video when you are actually presenting. Please be sure to stay for the entire session, even after you are done presenting. And if you have any question, please type them in between. Please type them in the chat in between presenters. And let's refrain from chatting during anyone's presentation so that we don't create any distraction. And for snammers, you may sit or stand while you are presenting, whatever is the most comfortable to you. You only have 2 minutes and 59 seconds and one chance to compete. After I introduce you, a Zoom host will advance your presentation slide. You may then begin your presentation. But once you begin speaking, we will start this timer and you will not be able to restart your presentation. Unless something beyond your control were to happen, which we'll understand, you will be able to come back on the presentation. And you'll be able to speak afterwards, after the last presenter. Please don't stop if something happened unless we stop you. And if you were to lose connection or something were to happen, we'll wait for you for 1 minute, like mentioned, and you can redo your presentation at the end. Remember that you may not read your presentation or use any notes on your screen or in front of you. Right now, let's turn our attention to the scoring for this research rumble. The judges will be assessing the competitors based on metrics which total 24 possible points in 4 major areas: comprehension, content, engagement, and communication. Each judge will independently score each competitor. Judges will not penalize competitors for unanticipated disruptions that are beyond the slammer's control. And at the end of the presentation, We will tally the judges' combined scores for each grad slammer and announce the winners right here live, right? So this is exciting to stay at the end because we will know the winners right here. And the top three in the session will advance to the semifinals. And I'd like to note that this round is happening live in Zoom and will be also live on the Graduate College YouTube channel right now. And to give you a sense of this year's competition, over 90 students are competing in the prelim rounds, and around 36 will move to the semifinals, and 9 will advance to the finals, which will be held on this Friday, November 8th, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So, without further ado, let me introduce our judges for today. So our judges, please feel free to turn on your camera so that you can wave. As I mention your name, we have a set of very distinguished judges that will be here today. So I'm going to mention the name of the judges, and please feel free to turn on your camera and wave hello so that everyone can know who you are here. So we have first Long Ching. If I'm butchering your name, please, my apologies in advance, but it is Long Ching Chien. I'm not sure if I said that right. And if I did not, please, you can unmute yourself to say it correctly.
You're right.
Okay. And the next one we have Emma Frances Bloomfield. Hi. Next one we have Robert Forkwell. Hello. And we have Ashlyn Gray. Andy Andres. And we have Jeremiah Tran. My apologies if I butchered any name. My apologies if I butchered any name. So we are ready. We are now ready to move forward to the next phase, the space that we are here for. Again, thank you to all of our judges for serving today. And we are going to be having our very first presenter, who is Maria Hermosillo. Maria, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. So right here, this is a picture of me when I was a little girl. So if you look in the background, you can see those mountains. Those are the Virgin Mountains of Southern Nevada. So growing up there in rural Nevada, I always felt out of place. I always had questions like, where's my community? Where are my opportunities? But for my parents, it was different. They're immigrants. Where they live in Southern Nevada represented when they first got their home, where they first got their residency, and then they got their citizenship, and importantly, where they built their family. For them, it was like a place of comfort, it was a place of joy, a place of stability. And interestingly enough, a lot of people my age left for college, but ended up coming back to rural Nevada to build their families there. And I always had this question of why. So these kind of different observations led me to the question of how do Latinx people find belonging in these regions? And so Nevada's Latinx population has been growing rapidly since the 1990s, and a lot of immigration has been going to rural towns and rural cities. And so, what does the experience look like? What does it feel like to be Latino in Nevada? Who truly feels that home means Nevada? Who feels belonging? And so, my research draws on 32 in-depth interviews and observations from individuals who lived or formerly lived in Southern Nevada. And I asked them their thoughts on the idea of home. And so what I find is many current residents, many who are first generation immigrants, see the city as a home. For them, it was where they got stability, where they started their families, a place to lay down roots. So a lot of them mentioned that the reason that they felt home there is that there were a lot of job opportunities. Many saw the casino at jobs offering better working conditions and better pay, better than the factory or agricultural work of California. They liked the small town feel and the sense of safety that came with it. And for many of them, it's when they started their own families. And in contrast, like former residents, people like me who are often second generation or beyond and grew up in the city kind of feel nostalgia for it, but don't fully consider it as home. So the very things that their parents had, the job opportunities, the small town feel, the families are the same reasons they left. They said that there was limited job opportunities there and few educational opportunities. They expressed that they wanted to grow as people, but they couldn't because there was conservative values. There wasn't a lot of racial diversity. Some even left because their families broke apart and they wanted a fresh start. Still, a few expressed the idea of coming back and starting their own families. But what attracts immigrant communities may not be enough to keep their children there. Understanding the sense of belonging is important because it can show how people are supported and feel a valued greater part of greater society. So in a way, home isn't about where we live, and this is just a me way to honor the journey of people like my parents who made it home against the odds. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that presentation and for that timely presentation. So we are going to be having a 60 seconds in between to give the judges some time to score. And after that 1 minute, we will be announcing our next slammer to begin the presentation. Well, thank you so much for that. And now we are going to be having our next slammer, who is Refat Rasul Srejon. I'm so sorry that I butchered that last name.
Hello, everyone. Uh, I'm a first generation student that is studying abroad, and during my professional life, I found like there are like lots of young adults that having trouble with different kinds of non-communicable diseases because they are having like smoking. So that's why like I chose this topic as a for my dissertation. And as you know, like it's still around 28.3 million adults currently smoking in USA, and more than 60 million American live with smoking related diseases. And surprisingly, in 2022, 67.7% adult tried to quit, but only 8.8% they're successfully to quit from smoking. That's why like objective of my study is going to investigate extents to which MTM explain initiation and sustenance of smoking cessation behavior among young adult. For methodology, I'm going to use a randomized control trial. So one group is going to have this intervention and other not. And I'm also going to use mixed method for qualitative and quantitative analysis. And for intervention component, there are like 3 segments that I divided the whole process. So experiential learning. So people, the folks, they are going to have different group and online session with personal, professional, and then also after the each session, they are going to have some module or quizzes so that we can like measure their knowledge, so how much they are learning from this intervention. And for the second component, personal motivation and barrier. So we are going to introduce a quit game. This is a app for particularly designed for smoking, so that they can measure or like track how long they are going and how much like stick they are taking per day. And also they are going to find out like barrier, and so that they can discuss with some other folks. They are also been in the same intervention. And also for the cessation and maintenance strategies, after gathering all this information, so we will like have our result, and also we can like implement or analyze those for next research as well. For implementation plan, so preliminary, we are going to diagnosis for a cross-sectional study, and also we'll do some like a systematic review. And for material development, such as questionnaire and flyers, and also we are going to engage a stakeholder, because they are going to be like the big part of our intervention. And obviously we need IRB approval, and we are focusing to conduct this one between summer 2025 to fall 2025. And as a conclusion, we think like our study is going to be increase knowledge of existing smoking cessation intervention, and inform public health and long-term impact in society. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that great presentation. We are going to be having a 60 seconds to give the judges some time, and we will be moving on to our next slammer. All right, thank you very much. Are we allowed to see the slides again? Let's see, is this from, as a judge, I'll let Alyssa answer that. Alyssa, are the judges allowed to see the slides again? Are we able to share it with the judges offline?
We can, after the final presentation, we can go back to through the slides upon request.
Okay, yes. Thank you so much, Emma. That was a great question. Okay, and now we are introducing our next slammer, Jessica Grifaldo. The floor is all yours.
You know when you're watching National Geographic and you see a killer whale chasing a seal? At first you're like, go seal, go, swim away. But then the narrator says, the killer baby whale has been eaten for days, both predator and prey, fighting for their existence. Now you're conflicted. Now you don't know who to cheer for, and you're kind of like, well, you know, it is a baby, and killer whales, they are going extinct. Now, I need you to feel just as conflicted when we talk about bacteria, because we tend to think that bacteria are good or bad, but in reality, they are neither. They are just trying to exist. And thanks to science, we've learned how to coexist with bacteria, and more recently, learn to manipulate them to help us resolve human problems. For example, we've manipulated endospores as a delivery system for vaccines because they can withstand harsh environments like the acid in our stomach. We've used bacteria as tools to produce proteins or enzymes to get rid of toxic compounds from the environment that humans contaminated. We've even used bacteria as fertilizer to stimulate plant growth to be able to feed the 8 billion humans on Earth. Now, in my lab, I work with Bacillus subtilis, and the ability of Bacillus to carry out all of these wonderful characteristics that humans have exploited is hidden in the DNA. Now, the DNA is this molecule that has genetic information, kind of like a cookbook with instructions on how to make a cake. And a small bacterial protein known as mutation frequency decline, or MFD, can control and alter genetic information in DNA. And like a cookbook, if you change the instructions, you might get a different cake. And so my project as a PhD student has combined molecular and computational approaches so that I can act kind of like a detective and determine the specific locations where MFD alters genetic information in DNA. And by doing this, I would have provided us with a map to be able to control both the growth and evolution in bacteria to help us deal with our human problems. Now, I have also been negatively labeled kind of like bacteria because I am a daughter of immigrants who grew up in East LA repping Los Dodgers. That means that I'm ghetto and I'm probably not that smart. And because I go to raves, that means that I'm not goal-oriented. But in reality, that is not true. I am just a scientist trying to exist, and scientists can come from anywhere. My name is Jessica Grifaldo. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Jessica, for this wonderful presentation. Now we are going to give our judges a minute to score, and then we will be on with our next speaker. Okay, in case anyone didn't get to see that on the chat, from the Grad Academy, Licea mentioned to just let us know if you, at the end of the session, if there's any slides you'd like us to go over, and we can just go back to the slides afterwards. And now for our next speaker, we have Natalie Chan. Natalie, the floor is all yours.
Hi everyone, my name is Natalie. As a future clinician from the Chinese American community, I'm here today to talk about how different cultural components impact our mental health, health-seeking behaviors, especially for those who are college-aged, and what can we possibly do to help. Filial piety is the foundation of Chinese American culture. It's always about family and obligation. Parents feel responsible for preparing children's future and believe education helps secure better career opportunity. These parents rarely talk about emotions, yet often unintentionally express them through describing their somatic feelings and socially emotional experiences. In addition to the lack of mental health discussions, the lack of mental health vocabulary in Chinese languages contribute a lot to the stigmatizing attitude toward mental health in our community. Language gap and the fear of being labeled by cultural stereotypes make it more difficult and challenging for us to express emotions. Based on my research, I realize a lot of Chinese Americans are very proactive in help-seeking behavior. They're just more interested in self-help strategy and receiving comfort from their close-knit groups. Cost is the biggest concern for them to seek professionally help. So here are some of my suggestions. We should expand the school-based free accessible mental health services and resources. We should also develop an open, supportive environment on campus where these young adults feel free and safe to share their experience and perhaps learn some coping skills. Here at UNLV, we have the very first student-run organizations, Project Wellness, which is a peer-to-peer mental health support groups in the United States. CAPS also closely collaborates with the Office of Global Education Initiative to facilitate psychoeducation workshop for international students. My presentation is about to conclude here, but conversations about mental health should go far from over. Let's work together from today to build a mental health awareness and start telling people around us it's okay to need help. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Natalie. And now we'll give our judges a minute to score. And last but not least, we have Fernando Licea. Fernando, the floor is all yours.
Growing up, whenever my sister and I would encounter an obstacle that was difficult to overcome, we'd hear the same pep talk from our dad. Well, are we gonna sit here and get to know the problem? Or are we gonna go out and be a part of the solution? You see, my dad believes that the best way to live life, the only way to live life really, is by doing. And if I would try to argue, he would just go on and say, the more we explore what life has to offer, the more prepared for life we'll be. And he may have been onto something because our brains were wired to do just that. You see, when we're born, our brains are not fully developed, which sounds scary, I know. But as anyone who's tried to fill a crossword in ink will tell you, sometimes it's easier if we can make adjustments along the way. Alternatively, our brains start off their journey much like a clay pot would, with soft clay that's easy to shape, open to change, and full of potential. These early developmental periods are known as critical periods. And unfortunately, as development progresses and these critical periods close, making meaningful changes to our pots are all that much more difficult. A significant challenge in trying to help children who may be suffering from neurodevelopmental concerns are identifying them before the clay hardens. So what if we could identify them earlier? That's what my research is aiming to accomplish by mapping innate behaviors like exploration. We hope to gain insight on the developmental trajectory of the brain. There's a lot we can learn by watching how an organism explores novel environments, because during these critical periods, the brain is on an expedition, trying to explore novel environments, experience novel experiences. And because novelty is a key component of what evokes these exploratory responses, it's perfectly suited to identify these individuals. If we take a look at the most left column, we see that just about after 30 days of postnatal development, there's an increase in exploration. And more importantly, if we look at the second column, a development of a habituated response to the novelty of open field tasks, which is shown in decrease in exploration. When we take a look at an animal model of neurodevelopmental disorders, such as mice with a GABRA 2-1 mutation, we see that they don't follow the same developmental trends. Looking at the graphs on the far right, we can see that as the wild-type mice or the gray mice get older, the gap between initial and final exploration widens. And this is not the case for our GABRA 2-1 mice, or in blue. This is important because these insights will allow us to identify individuals who may need some further adjustments to their pots, and allows us to make sure that everyone's pot is uniquely suited to make sure that they can prosper. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this great presentation. And this was our final presenter for today. And as we are giving judges some time to score, we are going to go over a few things. But before we do that, Emma, did you want us to go over the slides so that you are able to judge all of them? Did we want to do that? Did we want to do that first? Okay, so this is the first one. So we'll take a few seconds to look at that one. We can go over the next one. And the next one, please. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. We hope this was very helpful to be able to go back. We wanted to thank everyone for joining us for preliminary rounds. Thank you to the graduate college team who have made this 3MT event possible. We have many people in the background that's making sure that everything is going very smoothly. So again, thank you. Round of applause for everyone in the back end just making this possible. Now, we just want you to stay tuned because we will be announcing our winners, our top 3 winners, right in a few minutes live here. So judges, please be sure to press submit at the bottom of your scoring rubric form so that we are able to get the results. While we will only have top 3 winners of this round to progress to the semifinals, you will all be winners of a Rebel Grad Slam t-shirt, and you can get yours during the Rebel Grad Slam finals presentation. So for the preliminary rounds, first place winner will receive $300, second place $200, and third place will be $100. Again, we want to thank everyone for participating here today. Alyssa, you can let me know if we are ready. If not, I can go over a few more information.
Thank you, Diane. We have our last score in, but we just need a few minutes to tally. So I can play some music or share some info.
Yeah, I can share some info about the event. So we are going to be having our semi-final rounds that's happening on Thursday. This Thursday at 9 a.m., 11 a.m., and 1:30 p.m. in the Green Swan Auditorium. And for the big finale, so the finals will be on Friday, November 8th at 4 p.m. in the Green Swan Auditorium. We really want to invite everyone to come, whether you win tonight's this afternoon's rounds or not. We really would want to invite everyone to come to the final so that you can really get to see like the big lights and everything happening. It's such a great experience. Well, I've heard it's a great experience. I'm really excited to attend it myself. And we'll have your your Rebel Grad Slam t-shirts available at the finals reception there at the Greenspan lobby. And we really welcome you to RSVP for the final event. And we just added it to the chat for you. So you can click on that link so that you can get to register. We really would want to see everyone there and invite your friends. It's an open event, so you can invite your community to come and support you, or you can really come and cheer on. It's gonna be a great event, and I believe we have some appetizers, right, Alyssa? Okay, she's busy tallying up the scores, but I do believe we have some appetizers. So really come join us so that we can have a good time together. We're just gonna wait a few more minutes here as we tally up our votes, and we will be ending very soon. We can play some music while we wait for the votes to come in. Okay. I think we are ready. Okay, I see Alyssa's typing, so I'll wait for her.
We are ready. Thank you, Diane.
Okay, we are ready. Do you announce or do I announce?
All you.
Okay, all right. You know what? I will start at the bottom. So can we give drums roll for our third place winner? Virtual drum rolls. Okay, so our third place is Maria Hermosillo. Congratulations, Maria, for being our third place winner. And drum roll for a second one. A second one is Fernando Licea. Congratulations, Fernando. And last but not least, our very first place is Jessica Grifaldo. Congratulations. All right. Thank you again, everyone, for coming and for being here. We're really looking forward to seeing you at our final reception. And the link is there in our chat. You can RSVP for that. We'll see you there.